All right, so we're live. Welcome to this first live broadcast of GEG Nevada. I'm Jared Bartishan, out of Las Vegas, Nevada. I work at Shadow Ridge High School as a tech director. And this is the first part in a series for GEG Nevada to showcase some Google for Education certified innovators and trainers around the country. I'm pleased to have tonight one of my very good friends and longtime colleague, Mr. Richard Lombardo. He's going to talk to us a little bit about the new Google Forms, which for a lot of domains, school domains, was being released on a scheduled release this week. So you may have seen it pop up at your school or your institution. If not, it should come out sometime this week. So, Rich, I'm going to go ahead and let you introduce yourself and get us started.
Great, thanks, Jared. So my name's Rich Lombardo. I'm in Austin, Texas now. I actually taught in Clark County for 11 years, and I'm actually working for the Eanes Independent School District. We're a one-to-one iPad district, and I just started this summer, so I'm really excited. So, yeah, today is probably a great day. It's appropriate timing for the new rollout because it's exciting that Clark County is finally going Google. We've been Google at many of the school districts here, but today I noticed on mine it looks like our Google Forms rolled out today, so I had the option to upgrade. So
Awesome.
let's go ahead.
I think ours was yesterday in Las Vegas, Rich, and I'm not sure about some of the other places around.
Oh, great. So let's take a look at what that transition is going to feel like for the first time. So when you log into your forms, you choose a new form, you'll see that you're going to get this choice of switching over to the new Google Forms.
So, Rich, this is an opt-in opportunity, correct?
Yes. And you're actually able to switch back and forth right now. I don't know how long they're going to keep that going, but there are some features that still are not available that are standard on the old forms. So I would have to guess until they have those ready to go that you're still going to have that option because there are some great features that still need to be added.
And Rich, I think some of those features are data validation. I know is one of them that I don't think is in the new release of Forms just yet. Do you remember any of the others?
Yeah, so data validation is one of the big ones, but probably the biggest is there's no add-ons yet. So you can't do add-ons, you can't shuffle questions, and you also can't add any date or time type questions. So if any of those are required on your form, then you definitely don't want to switch, or you'll want to switch back before you actually release it to the public.
Absolutely.
So if I click the bar, this is going to bring me to the new layout. But before I do that, I want to click on what the live form is going to look like for a blank document. And you can see it's real plain. It's just got the light blue background and a white template area for the questions. When I switch over to the new Google Forms, one of the things I like the most is that the colors are already visible, and in fact, it looks almost identical to what your live form is going to look like. So you notice now that the header is purple, and it's got a light bluish purple background. The question area is still the same. And you'll notice now that the layout is totally different. There's no more menu bar up at the top. Now we have questions and choice selections on the right-hand side. Up in the top right, you'll see some similar symbols, but they're different now in this environment. So just to give you that quick glimpse of how the form looks for the preview, we now have this eye. And this allows us to preview the form, whereas before you had to click and create the form view. So notice how it almost resembles exactly what we were able to see when we're designing the form.
Absolutely.
Another cool feature is I don't have to now select theme, go to a whole separate page to choose layouts, we have this little color palette right here. If I click on it, I can quickly change the theme with a solid color. If I want to change it to something more elaborate with a custom header image or choose from one of the existing ones, down in the bottom right it gives us that option.
Yeah, I think that's been the most common question that I've gotten the last day or so is what happened to all those really cool themes that we had before? I think people think that that icon down at the bottom is just a insert photo or image icon.
Right, yeah, and it gives you both. So you still get all of the choices you had previously. So here are holiday themes. But down in the bottom left, you'll notice that we have our, you can upload photos or pull them right from your albums.
Awesome.
So if I was to just choose something, I don't know, we got Halloween coming up. Once again, it automatically updates, and now I'm editing in something that's going to closely resemble what the live form is going to look like. So it kind of makes it a little bit more appealing to the eye, and you know what to expect right away. So the next thing is, remember the menu bar up at the top? That's no longer there. Instead, they have two other buttons. One is your gear. So the gear, these were those questions that were up above and below the form. So remember, I'm in my school domain, so if I want to collect my usernames automatically, normally the buttons would be above the form, especially the title. Now I can just collect that right in here. Remember the confirmation page, your messages, you just type right here, as opposed to all the way at the bottom of the form.
That's nice.
Yeah, and then you've got the other options, like do you want them to edit their responses, see a summary, and so forth. So I think that's pretty neat the way they're able to do that. And then the same thing all the way on the right-hand side. You can see that we have what was typically up on the top menu bar. So you don't have as many choices, but we have primarily the basic ones. Am I going to make a copy of this? Am I moving it? Do I want to create a pre-filled document? Do I want to print it, add some people to share, and so on?
It's a lot cleaner, definitely.
Yeah. Well, it's part of that design, material design that Google pushed out, I think, about a year and a half, 2 years ago. And it's really clean. It makes it just really simple for people to get accustomed to using, and it's real appealing on the eyes. All right, so if we look at the actual form itself, we have our title. And notice how we can add our form description. We have our questions, but look at how the question is slightly different than before. It defaults to the same thing, your typical multiple choice question. Here are some other options. You can see date and time are still blocked out. Remember they used to have video and images? Well,
Yeah.
they've added those off to the side, which is kind of nice. And then notice on this multiple choice question, if I need to add options the same way. But down at the bottom is where they moved some of the common tools. If I want to duplicate something, I'm just going to use it at the bottom of the question now. It's no longer up in the top right-hand corner. Same thing, if I'm going to delete this question, it's right here, which is kind of nice because it was sometimes frustrating trying to find that little pop-up that would come up over here to choose any of those options.
Absolutely.
And then remember that the required used to be all the way on the left-hand side under the question. Well, now it's just a switch in the bottom right. What I think is kind of cool is that they've added the 3 ellipses to get some of those finer tools. For instance, do you want to show your hint text? Well, not everybody uses that, so hide it off to the corner. If you need it, same thing with if you're using logic branching, here we can choose that as well. Anybody have any questions so far?
It looks good, Rich. Now, I'm probably getting ahead of you here a little bit, but if I decide that I don't like this at all and it's not for me and I need to do some of those things that, that I'm accustomed to doing, how do I get out of this?
All right, great question. And I'm going to show you two little tricks. One is the little running man. So you'll notice down in the bottom left-hand corner, we have this little running man. You click on him, he'll revert back to the old forms. That's one way. In case that doesn't show up, this other little trick works, which you see right here. When you create a form, you might not have this little piece. It might just be edit like that. But if you add this question mark UIV equals, if I put 1, that's my new form. If I put 0, watch what happens. It now reverts back to the old style.
Fantastic. So just interchanging the 1s and the 0s moves us between the two versions of the form.
Yep. And you can see it automatically brought back that bar to choose to enroll. But I can also just put the 1, and it brings me right back. And it's kind of cool because it saved all the theme and the information I had in here.
That's excellent.
Then you'll also notice now if we go to this bar over here, I have the plus sign which allows me to add a new question. So once again, you can choose whatever choice you want. So I choose a short answer. But below it, here's where I get to add a title. So remember how that was one of the options? Now it's a button off on the side. And then also the images and videos are right here on the side as well. So I think that's real convenient.
Absolutely. It makes a lot more sense to treat them separate than that kind of group of questions that we attributed to that group before.
Right. Now, if anyone's going to be using any logic branching, I think one of the best improvements, even though it's not a new feature, they added the sections down here, but they seem to be better separated. In the past, with that plain white background, it was hard to define what is the section and what is not, especially when I want to drag a question from one area to the next. It became an issue, and you could see I'm having a slight issue here. Let me maximize my screen. And it might not let me because I haven't added anything on here. So let me go ahead and add a question. And now let's see if it'll let me drag this guy over. And yeah, so I had to just add something. But you can see it just seems to be a little bit more visual where those separations are.
Right.
And then if you need to define, well, which direction am I going, you just got these drop downs.
Absolutely.
Trying to think of what else was a really good feature that stood out. I mean, Forms is probably one of my favorite applications for Google. So any little improvement is great.
What about our responses option up there, Rich?
Okay, and I was saving that for last. That, I think, is probably the most powerful change. And for that, I'm going to click over and just show you that, well, we haven't shared this form, so we can't see anything. And you have the typical, we can open up this sheet that it's assigned to. We do have this little drop down where we get to choose the destination. We can unlink the form. And we can also download as a CSV. But I'm going to show you an actual live form that I used today. So today was Tech Tuesday on my campus. And here's the new form. Real simple. I liked it because it was just clean. But what I thought was awesome was this response feature. Notice how when I click on it, I actually immediately see who has responded. And I can see the content area that they're in. and then I can actually see their responses. So that's super powerful because I don't always want to have to go back to a new sheet or the existing sheet, open it up, figure out who submitted what, when did they submit it. It's all listed right here, nice and clean.
Sure. So it takes away, we don't have to go hunt down that summary of response option anymore. It just brings it immediately to us.
Right. And then the usual, you can turn off any responses. You can go to the form, to the sheets if you wanted to see it. And likewise, we can change that destination for those sheets and we can unlink it as well. But I just thought this was probably the most powerful addition. And then I think the visual layout to me was probably my favorite because you get to see what your form is going to look like without having to switch back and forth between those views.
Fantastic. Well, Rich, I think it looks really good, and really excited that they made some updates to forms because I think it's long overdue. And super excited to have you be a part of our first GEG Nevada presentation. So this is your chance. Any plugs, any blogs, anything that you want for yourself, I guarantee we'll have you back in the future. This is your opportunity to plug yourself for a second.
Well, great. Thanks. I appreciate it. Yeah, if you want to follow me on Twitter, I'm at Rich_Lombardo. Actually, Jared and I co-author a blog, talkingheadstechnology.com. And if you guys are ever in Texas, look me up, especially if you come to any of the conferences.
Fantastic. I think we are presenting in Texas this year. 2 sessions, Rich, is that right?
Yeah, no, 3.
No,
only 2. Only 2 this year. So
2 or 3, and yeah, Rich and I have had a chance to know each other for a lot of years. We attended the Google Teacher Academy both in 2014 at different locations, and we became Google Education trainers at the exact same time, working together to accomplish that goal. So I wouldn't think of anybody else to invite to the first GEG Nevada, and we'll be glad to have you back, Rich, in the future. I sure appreciate you taking your time. I know it's 8 o'clock, 8:19 over there, so you're a couple hours ahead, but we appreciate you staying up a little bit later and helping us out.
Great, thanks. I really appreciate it. Hopefully everybody in the audience has learned something, and I definitely feel honored to be the first in the GEG group of presenters here. So definitely anytime, I'm always willing.
Awesome. All right, and we'll talk with you later, and we'll keep you up to date, GEG Nevada, with our next session, which will be next month. We haven't tagged the date on that, and who our special Google for Education certified innovator or trainer will be on that month. But we'll keep you posted, and we'll see you then.
Sounds great. Thank you. Good night, everyone.